You're watching the 8-player draft series at Magic Brewhouse Games.
Hello everyone, welcome to Magic Brewhouse Games. I'm Jeremy and I'm here with Adrian. We're here to discuss Adrian's draft picks.
Let's get right into it. All right, so here we are, pack one, pick one. I don't really know what I'm doing. I take the Serpentine Spike because I think it's a good card. I like the idea of dealing damage to a lot of creatures. And
I don't see a clear pick in this pack really to start it off. Just maybe see yourself in red.
I can see an argument for Brood Monitor, but I like Serpentine Spike. I like removal. It's kind of expensive, but whatever. So you'll notice that as we draft, my picks go to the top left corner there, and they get a little grayed out. That's just to keep a running tally of what I've already chosen in comparison to the rest of the pack. And my good buddy Jeremy here has passed me a Rolling Thunder, and that was pretty good in Tempest block, so that is what I take. And the ability to deal X damage to creatures and players is pretty sweet.
Very solid pick. Very solid card.
And it keeps me in red. And so I was actually pretty committed to staying in red for a long time, and that might have been my undoing. But here I took the Valakut Invoker because I figured, he's an aggressive body, 2/3 for 3, and at the late game he can start pinging off creatures. I didn't end up having as much ramp as I thought I would have had, but hindsight's 20/20. So in keeping with my theme, went ahead and took a Tunneling Geopede, and I was like I said, very committed to staying in one color. That's what I tend to do when I'm very unfamiliar with the set. I could see an argument for taking either Scour from Existence or Evolving Wilds here, or given how my deck ended up, maybe even a Tide Drifter.
Fair
enough. Here I ran out of red picks, so that made me sad. And I should have taken the Evolving Wild, but instead I saw a Grizzly Bear with an upside, and that is what I took. Because at its worst, he's a bear. Bears are pretty decent in draft. I thought I was going to go with a pretty aggressive deck, and I was sure I'd pick up some Evolving Wilds later. That's not the case.
Solid pick, though. Solid.
Here, I wish I'd taken the Natural Connection, but I took Retreat to Valakut because I thought it was going to be an aggressive deck, and I figured that I might have like a Landfall sub-theme with the Snapping Gnarlid. And so giving +2/+0 or creatures not being able to block seemed pretty decent in an aggro deck, but I didn't actually end up playing this. I think it's kind of slow for what it does.
But at the time, it looked like a good pick anyways.
Yeah.
Based on what you had seen so far, you couldn't have known what was going to happen.
Yeah. In retrospect, I should have taken Natural Connection, or I'm still not even really that in the green. Maybe even Clutch Occurrence would have been a better pick for me here. So here, I get a little aggressive. I take the Vestige of Emrakul. And the reason I ended up with 3 of these in my deck, and the reason I took so many of them is because I also got some other colorless creatures, but which made me wish I'd taken the Quasi Lord. But he's aggressive. He's a 3/4 with trample. I thought I'd be getting some hits in with him. I actually don't think I played one of them during my 2 games. So here, same sort of deal. I was struck with a very similar position to what Marshall had, if you've seen his video, between Sure Strike or Processor Assault. I took the Processor Assault actually mostly on the basis that it was an uncommon. And I knew I'd be seeing less of them, and I thought, there's a lot of ways to get cards into the exile zone. So I thought, this is basically a not as good Goblin Grenade. And I like Goblin Grenade, so...
Yeah, it's a really solid pick.
It's a way worse Goblin Grenade. So here, I really only had one pick. I could have taken, and again, in hindsight, I could have taken the Eyeless Watcher, but I took Looming Spires, because I was pretty sure I was going to be mono red at this point, maybe red with a green splash. Did not actually end up playing Looming Spires, as I was actually ended up pretty heavy in green. And to wit, I took the Lifespring Druid, because with the Serpentine Spike and the Rolling Thunder, I was leaning more towards basically the biggest problem I had with this draft was I wanted to be 2 decks. I wanted to be a red-green ramp deck, but I drafted too many cards for a red aggro deck. And I ended up being somewhere in the middle of both decks without actually being good. And actually, the Lifespring Druids didn't even end up making the final cut. As I took...
I look at that pack and I still see like Call of the Scions might have been another pick you could have considered as well, especially if you're talking the ramp route. Even for like a one-shot with Rolling Thunder.
Yeah. And again, took another Lifespring Druid. 2 is too many, though. Here it started to fall apart. I took the Wavewing Elemental because no one was really in blue, and this seemed like a pretty solid card, maybe towards the late game with my Landfall sub-theme. A 3/4 flyer is pretty good at 6 mana. Not great, but here I took another Wavewing Elemental. And, I probably should take the spawning bed. And then I took the land because Fortified Rampart I was not going to play.
Fair enough.
So in pack 2, I am the one who opened the Felidar Sovereign. And I had a few options here, but Grove Rumbler was the best pick. I don't think I ever actually got to resolve it. But Trample, Landfall, he's easily going to be a 5/5 for 4 with Trample if you manage to attack within the next turn.
Definitely the best card for you in that pack.
Here, I think I took another Vestige of Emrakul, and it was between that and McKindy's Siderunner for me. I was definitely not in Allies at this point. I don't like Pilgrim's Eye, and I realized I didn't have anything I could really do with Processor's Assault. There's also an argument to be made here for Kozilek's Channeler, but as we'll see, I got pretty cut off from green this pack, and so this was the pack where I started to go maybe mono red. So I took Vile Aggregate here, because Vile Aggregate's powers is the number of colorless creatures I control, and I'm drafting a lot of colorless creatures. So that seemed like the best pick for me. Tajuru Beastmaster may have been good, but at the time I didn't really like its stats very much, and I wasn't really playing a lot of allies. Took another Teetering. Oh no, took a Belligerent Whiptail here. Just another solid landfall dude. 4-drop, so a little pricey, but 4/2 with first strike. If you can hit a land every turn, it's pretty good. And I wasn't going to take the black removal spell or the Defiant Bloodlord. I didn't think I was solid enough in those colors. And you were cutting me pretty hard off of black in these packs.
No, I wasn't.
Oh yeah, this is pack 2. So this time I took Vile Aggregate again. It gets better in multiples. At its very worst, he's a 1/5 with Trample, which isn't very good. I maybe could have taken the Nettle Drone, but the Vile Aggregate has a passive, just boost. It's just a big guy. So that's the reason I took him. And I actually didn't end up with any Scion generators, which I think really hurt me. Here I took the Stonewaker, because he has great utility late game. He's an uncommon, and at his very worst, you get to make a 3/1 with haste on turn 3 if you have nothing better to do with your mana.
Very solid. Good utility.
I think I took Chasm Guide here. Yeah. And I got a little distracted by the haste at the time. I didn't think about it, but in reality, he's most often just going to give himself haste. And a hasty 3/2 for 4 is maybe not where I wanted to be, but he seemed pretty decent in an aggro deck. So that's why I took him. And here I took the Ondu Champion. Trample is awesome, and most of my creatures ended up actually having Trample, but I still played this card because he's great for instant Trample. He's an ally 4/3 for 4. That's a pretty decent aggressive body, and I didn't really want to take another Belligerent Whiptail at this point. Here the only pick for me was Outnumber, so I ended up taking it.
Still not a bad pick though.
I think I took the McKindy Sliderunner here. Yeah. I was a little creature light, and I wanted some more aggro. So I took that really off the processor plane at this point. I think I took the Beastmaster here, to stay on color. I probably should have taken the Demon's Grasp. I was getting a lot of good black this pack. That's the second Demon's Grasp, and maybe if I had a bit more removal, it would have been a little better. And then here's a third Demon's Grasp, and again, I'm just passing all these. I take the Looming Spires. So pretty big signal that black was open coming from the other side, and I gave them all to you. So there you go. I think here I took the Silent Skimmer. Yeah, just because it was a. I like the idea of my opponent losing 2 life more, and I wasn't on the Exile to Graveyard plan. And then here I took the Swamp, and then do a 4 turn. So here is when it starts getting good again. Like, I have all these colorless cards, but you can't pass Woodland Wanderer, Oops. So that's what I ended up taking. And at his worst, he was a 4/4 for 4 with Trample and Vigilance in my deck. Yeah. Here I took the Vestige of Memory. Oh no, I took Swallow Growth. I thought I was going to be back on the ramp plan, and this seemed like a pretty decent combat trick, but the more I sort of practiced with it, the less I liked it. I really ended up not liking this card, and I thought the pump was going to be good and the landfall was going to be good, but every time I sort of practiced, I didn't have a land in my hand to put onto the battlefield.
Figures.
And here I took Oran Reef Hydra. Just the best card in the pack. It's in my colors. I could see taking Outnumber, Oran Reef Invoker even, but Oran Reef Hydra is just objectively the best card in the pack here, and it's in my colors.
Yeah, it's clearly the best card for you, especially.
Yeah. Believe I took another Valakut Invoker here. Yeah. And didn't end up playing more than one, but I was pretty committed to my colors, and I didn't really feel like taking something else. Here, and again, there's another Demon's Grasp, kicking me for not taking black cards. I took Eldrazi Devastator because I was pretty sure I was going to be on the red-green ramp plan. And this is a decent curve topper. He's an 8/9 for 8 with trample. You know, he's just better than the Eldrazi from the other set, which was Emrakul's Ulamog's Pressure. Yeah. And I like that card a lot, so I figured this guy was going to be pretty good. Never got to play him, but them's the breaks. Here I took Kozilek's Sentinel. Oh no, Kozilek's Channeler, excuse me. Because again, I was back on the ramp plan. I was getting past a lot of good green stuff that I'd been cut off from pack 2. And, 4/4 for 5, pretty good. Being able to pump up my Rolling Thunders and Serpentine Spikes, I thought this was going to be just an excellent pick. And here I should have taken Call the Scions, which in this pick it was between Call the Scions or a Natural Aggression for me. But I felt a little light on removal, so I did end up taking a Natural Aggression. But given the fact that I had 2 of the aggregates, I maybe should have taken the Scion here over the removal. And especially since I'm playing 2 outnumbers.
Yeah, I think the Scion actually would have been a better pick in this case.
Yeah, just pumps my team, is a ramp spell. But hindsight's 20/20, of course.
Yeah. You'll see that when I'm doing this too, so don't feel bad.
Here I took the Shadow Skull Recruit. Only real pick for me. Incidental Ally. I have a little ally theme in the Haste guy, the Trample guy, and I end up taking the green +2/+2 guy at some point, if I haven't already. Here I take Vestige of Emrakul. It was between Kozilek's Sentinel on Molten Nursery, but I reread Molten Nursery, and I ended up not liking it. I don't have enough colorless spells to play that in my deck, although I do think it's a sweet card, and I do think it has a home in maybe a blue-red colorless deck.
Yeah.
And as we can see, there's a lot of blue-red colorless cards in this pack. Here's where I take the Kajari Warcaller. Double green, but I already have double green. I'm red-green, I'm only 2 colors, so I'm pretty sure I can get away with playing him. Stats are a little weak, 5-drop for a 2/1, not really great by himself, but I think I have enough allies to make him work. And +2/+2 with all of my trample creatures seemed like a pretty sweet deal at the time.
Still seems like a pretty sweet deal, honestly.
Oh, thank you. Here I take my second outnumber. I already have 3 Vestiges of Emrakul's at this point, and he's a 4-drop. My 4-drop's getting pretty cluttered, and I like removal, so outnumber seemed like a good pick. Although, like I said earlier, I think outnumber would have been much better with Call of the Scions. Yeah. Just because you're adding more creatures to the board. I think I took Seek the Wilds here. Yeah, just the only card in my color. But I didn't end up playing it. I don't really like effects like this. I know that the card selection is good, but I'm just not really a fan.
I have a hard time with those, especially in a 40-card format.
Yeah. Here I took the Retreat to Valakut, even though I should have taken the Plummet, because I didn't play the Retreat to Valakut, and the Plummet would have been a much better sideboard card. And last pick, Kozilek Sentinel. And, getting that last pick is when I realized I maybe should have been more on a colorless plan with the Nettle Drones. I saw 2 of them, and I could have easily had, a mono-red colorless deck that I think would have been pretty good, but the green cards I was getting past were just so sweet, I couldn't pass them up. And then I took a Plains. And here's my deck as it ended up. And I really struggled between being mono-red, because I had enough cards to be mono-red, and being red-green. But between the Oran Reef Hydra, the Woodland Wanderer, I was like, and the Grove Rumbler, I was like, I have to be in green. And I'm basically red, but I do, have some double green cards, but ended up being okay. So yeah, that's my deck. I'm sticking to it. This has been Adrian with Magic Brewhouse Games.
And this has been Jeremy. Thank you for watching. Please come view our other videos as well.
Yeah, stay tuned for some more great content.
Hey everybody, we hope you've enjoyed this draft review. If you'd like to check out our gameplay videos, the link's over to my right. If not, stay tuned for our next draft review. And if you like where we're headed here at Magic Brewhouse Games, please take a second to subscribe and leave your comment below. We would love to hear from you. Until next time, we'll be stirring up some magic. Bye everybody.